Okay, so we're going to do a quick start introductory video to how to use Glitter. So I'm going to do this on Linux, but it will be very similar under Windows, and I will provide some images on the differences. But if you've downloaded the zip file for your operating system, so I've got the Linux one here and I put it here. First thing you have to do is you have to unzip it. With Linux, it will come up with this kind of menu when you right mouse click on the icon, and you can go down to extract here. Under Windows, it will be under probably like a 7Z or 7-zip, whatever it's called, or a WinRAR, or whatever you have installed when you right click on this, or there might be an extract button. On my Windows machine, it's the 7-zip app that will do it, and then you extract, where you unzip the file, and you end up with a folder that looks the same name as the zip file. If you go into there, you'll see there's a bunch of files. The only thing that matters is the one that's marked GlitterIDE. I haven't quite got the icon to work, but this is just for the initial versions of this. This is just for the trial testy versions. Once this application is quite well tested, then there'll be an installer and you won't be doing this kind of stuff. You'll just be installing it and clicking from the menu like you would any other app. So once you've got this, the good thing about doing it this way is you don't need to be the administrator on your computer to run this. This doesn't need to be installed. So double click on that. On Linux, it will say, do you want to run in terminal or just run? Just click run and you should see that. And then the application should appear like this. So this is the main window area. Everything basically runs in one window under Glitter. Mainly because one day maybe this will become a web app. It's unlikely. At least I don't want to do it too much. It's a possibility though. So I wanted to keep with the whole idea of being within one window. Over here we have this big area. This changes. This is the sort of main area. I'm going to call that for now. Currently it is showing the layout editor, but there's no project. Future versions will start off with a much more friendly, do you want to create a new project type scene, or do you want to see a tutorial, or do you want to open an old project? But for now, this is what you get. So if you want to create, right, before we finish that, over here we have the project tree. This is where all your projects will appear and other bits and pieces. The backpack isn't really used. It only can store commands. It doesn't store paint or text. We'll finish that later on. And down the bottom here is a general inspector. This just shows extra bits and pieces when needed. This is the place where things go that don't fit anywhere else. So the first thing we will do, that's the prefs. We'll come back to the preferences in a minute. The first thing is we will go to the file menu and we will choose new app project, and suddenly there is a bunch of stuff in the project tree. If we click on the new app project one, we can give it a name, my project, me, and don't worry about the rest of the things yet. If you have a quite low powered computer, keep these at 1. This is just referring to the image density, the pixel density. So anything that's done in Scratch 3, when it says there's 1 pixel along, it actually means there's 2 pixels along, and there's 2 pixels down. There's 4 pixels per actual sort of screen pixel. This one lets you choose it if you want to have 1-to-1 or like the high density one of Scratch. This is just because I haven't quite optimized the image editor, and we want to make sure everything is fully up to spec before you do anything like that. Down here we will have action scripts and default layout. Don't worry about those two things for now, but we do have the stage. If we click on the triangle, there's costumes and scripts. So what used to be tabs in Scratch will be buttons down here. So the script editor is just a very boring thing where you type text in here. The font size will not be so large when you do it. We will do the prefs. That is written in here. So this is the font size and the font family, and you can choose different fonts. But going back to here, we have this. We have the stage, but that's pretty boring. This is what the stage currently looks like. It is a white square. So what we are going to do is we are going to click on Sprite List, and then we are going to create a new sprite. So if you click on Library on the version when you download it, nothing much will happen. But when I click on it, I get access to the Scratch library for Scratch 2, so I can select things from here. But you won't get that. You can click cancel to get out of this. One important thing is whenever you see this overlay window and you want to get out of it, except for one particular circumstance, you can click on, you don't have to, you can either press the escape key on your keyboard, or you can click on the outline gray area if you want, if there is no cancel button. There's one window that doesn't have a cancel button, and it may not be obvious. But anyway, back here, so we're going to click on new, and that creates a new sprite. And then on our sprite list, we have a blue sprite. We can click on sprite layout, and that will just take you back to the default layout, and the sprite is selected. We can move the sprite around as we would. We can edit, we can directly type in the information over here. We can choose the start frame in 2 different places, which is handy. This just gives you a few extra details. You might want to give the class, the sprite name, a better name than just sprite 0. This is the name that's just used for your reference, so it's more a description. So you could be like happy little sprite, but your class name should be something a bit shorter and have no spaces. So you could go happy. Alright, and then if you want to draw something different, we can click over here. So this is the image editor. So this is copy and paste options here. This is the select rectangle. Yeah, the different colors. This is an ongoing project, so it will look better and better over time. These are the frames that you currently have. There are only 1 frame, so we will draw something new. So the first set of drawing things, these ones here, the top 5, these are like immediate operation ones where you just draw a shape. So if I do that, if I click on it properly, then I just draw a thing, and then I can change it to that, and then I just draw a rectangle. So they're instantaneous. You can't do much. You can't rotate or anything. That's the flood fill option that will change the items. But over here we have the sort of more like Scratch ones. So we'll choose this, and we will change the colors to be black. Yes. And then we will draw. It is not immediately obvious. There is also, so these 4 options here are outline draw, so that just draws an outline of the shape. Filled draw, that draws the whole thing in 1 color. And the outline fill draws the outline in the primary color and the fill in the sub color. And this is the erase option. It just does exactly what it would normally do, except instead of drawing it, it erases in that area. So we will start off, and and this is a little preview of what you might see. So I will go here, and I will draw that. So if I can expand it out, I might want to zoom out a bit. It's quite small. And that goes there, and that goes there. But we will turn off pixel art, and then when we zoom in, it's nice smooth. So the way this works is, say you want to draw another circle, well, then you go new. You can click the new button, or you can press escape on your keyboard. You can stamp it. So I'll show you what stamping does in a second, but first we'll go new. So go new, and then we can draw another circle, and I'm going to draw it there, but I want the inside color to be white. And then we're going to shrink it down like that. And then I can stamp. So if I press stamp, or if I press the space bar, then it's just made a copy underneath it. So it's stamped it down, and then you can move this around, and now you've got your 2 little sprites. And we can stamp that one, and then if we click delete, it disappears. And then we'll go into the middle. And we'll make that, and we'll do this white, or not. Okay, I'll just go use white. Alright, so I'm just wanting to get rid of the middle. Alright, so now there's no inside part, and then we will change this to black, and then we will shrink it down, and then we'll go there, we'll put one there, and then we'll put one there, and then we will click on that thing, and we will make it thicker, and then we'll just go meow and draw a smiley face. So, and we'll give them some, well, that didn't really work, but hey. So I've created my shape. So now my sprite looks like that. If I go back to my layout, you can see there's my sprite. I can move them around. If you want to add colliders, if you want this thing to be collide with anything, you have to click on the little collider button over here. And you want to add a circle, and the circle comes out that big, and you want to shrink it down. So it only has circles to points and points to circles and circles to circles collisions at the moment. So there's no square collisions. They will come. This was just it's coming. So now you'll have a collision if you hit anywhere within this circle. So that's all that. This is a polygon tool for drawing polygons. That's a text for doing text. If you click here, there's a bunch of sort of simple operations where you can flip things around. And you can export it as a PNG or a JPEG. That's basically it. That you can play with the copy and paste if you want. You can undo and redo. If you look here, there's a sort of history of all of the options. You can sort of jump back to any point in the history, and you can start editing and then jump forward again. So those are the original ones beforehand. So we were actually there. Yeah, at some point you will be able to edit these options. So maybe you back here you made a yellow, you left it yellow. You could change it to red without having to redo the whole thing. So you can change your mind later on. And I think that is pretty much it for the editor. So now we've got our little image, and we have them sitting on the screen, and they're like there. We're going to put them there. You can do the same thing with the costumes for the stage. If you go there, if you want to add a new image, again you can load from your on your computer. Load an image from your computer. You can add a new frame with a little thing, or you can choose one from the built-in ones. That doesn't work very well from the library, but that will not work on the downloaded version unless you do something which I will show you at the very end. But anyway, we are going to come down to the scripts. So at the moment, everything in this this differs from Scratch, and that it's not a graphical programming language. It's more a traditional one. The editor is not very good. This is the one thing that I really want to get started on, making a really cool editor. But I need people to actually be enthusiastic about this project, and hopefully somebody to give me some money, because I don't have any money to pay for this. But hopefully something happens. But anyway, you will type your commands in here. So to do a flag block, you go flag, and the two curly brackets define the area of the flag block. So in here you can do flag stuff. You have an extra command you don't have in Scratch. You can go print hello. So that will print out the word hello in the text window, which we will see very soon. This is kind of like Java and C. So this version, I'm hoping to have a Python-like language, but this is meant to be a Java C type language. So there are semicolons at the end of commands. You do not actually need to have the semicolons. You can ignore them. I will type them because I've been programming in Java for so long that I almost cannot possibly not type them. So that's that. So please ignore them if you don't like them. And now we will make a sorry, excuse me. We will make two little loops. Repeat 10, and we're going to turn left 10. So that's one loop. And we'll write another one. Turn right 10. So things should be indented, but you don't have to indent this. This isn't Python, so it will work without you indenting it. You are free to put everything on one line, even if you don't have the semicolons. And a few things work. You can use tab. Oh my gosh. You can use tab to indent large blocks and shift tab to undent large blocks, and you can use control / or backslash, whichever one that is, to do commenting. So again, like Java, you have comments that look like this. So these two little slashes mean it's a one-line comment, which means that's just not is ignored by the computer. Or I'm going to put this in a forever block. You can do multi-line comments. So this is a multi-line comment, and that's your code. So when you've done this, so the other thing here, over here in these little colored things, you can click on various things, and if you click on that, it's a bit cluttered. There'll be a bunch of commands that will show up. So if I click on motion, I can see all the motion commands. If I click on sensing, I can see all the sensing commands. Not everything is in here, but I put as much as I could remember to put in. Operations, so you can find out different things. So let's just say I want to find out how do I go to a particular screen location. The thing is that, so I can copy the quick thing. You can't drag and drop, unfortunately. You can drag and drop, like it does work, but it won't let you drag and drop into the text area. That's not my fault. This is just using the built-in text editor, and I can't work out how to... I don't think you can determine where you drop things very accurately. Again, this will get much better over time. That's what I need your support for, amongst many other things. But anyway, so say I want that. If I go copy, that's what the C means. Then I can go over here, and then I can go paste. So go XY, that just means, so if I go, we're going to go 0, 10. All right, and that's going to go here. And just to prove that that works, oh gosh. Well, that proof that it works, I am going to, that's just me saving, by the way, as I always naturally save. I'm just going to go to the layout, and I'm going to put them all the way in the bottom corner, so over here. And then I'll come back to the scripts. And now I want to run this code. So there are several ways of doing this. I can click compile over here. I can click on the project, and then you'll see that there's a save project, compile, run, debug, quick compile, close project. Or I can go to the build option. I can do compile and run. So if I go control F9, that's what that told me to do. Then you will be able to go, and you'll see this screen come up. So this is the compile screen. So it's gone through here, it's compiled. When it says blueprint, that's just the thing it's generating. There's the actual compilation and language component of this is a lot more complicated than it may appear, and requires a large extra video or multiple videos to describe. But anyway, it has done this, and it started running it, and the first thing it did is it printed out hello, because that was in my code. So happy little sprite printed hello. I have down here auto generate and auto flag. So if I go stop, I have to click on the generate button that generates it. So this is the generated application. As you can see, my sprite is down the bottom. And then I can click on the flag, and then they'll start doing stuff. But for most cases, you want to have these two things set up, and that is most of it. So you can pause something, and then you can unpause it, and there are a few other options. You can create exporters, so there are Scratch 2 and HTML exporters. I'm not going to explain that in this video. And over here we have debugs. I'm not going to explain the debugging features that are built in this video, but I will at some point, of course. So that's that. So this is the window here where there's no obvious way to get out of this window, but you can press escape, or you can click in the outside area over here. So I'll press escape and it disappears. If there are any errors, so I'm going to go here in my script and then I'm going to go XYZ. Doesn't work here because we don't have 3D, but maybe one day. I would like to have pseudo 3D, so you can't like quirky paper CD 3D, I think you might want to call it. But for now you don't, but that's not a command that's built in. So if I compile it, you'll see there's unknown function and blah 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 that cannot be found within scope. So if I then press escape and go back here, you'll see that the errors are listed on the side, and if I click on the error, I can jump to the line that it was in. If I didn't have the error, hold on. If I didn't have the error, then the reference block will show up, and then I can click on the different things. So this will list where all the flag blocks are. This will list where all the flag blocks in here are. You can use this to find various commands and where variables are declared and where variables are used, where messages are declared, and so on and so on. And I think that's basically the built-in thing. If you want to save your project, you just go save project as or save project. And that is most of the actions. One last thing, this one doesn't do it, but when you normally start off, it will show some terms and conditions which look like this. This is the only overlay that you can't click on the outside to get past. You have to actually click on I accept the above and use the software at my own risk. Once you get bored of seeing that every time you start it up, you have to go into the preferences and choose this option and make sure there's no tick next to it. That's where these are just, most of these project things are just for how new projects are created, and these are your default folders. The most important part here is if you want to use the Scratch 2 media stuff for your library, you have to download Scratch 2 and install it, and then you have to click on Browse here, and then you have to go through, find where it's installed. So it will probably be installed on your C drive and your program files if you're running Windows, and in your pretend C drive and program files if you are running Wine under Linux. And deep in within there, you'll be able to find a folder called media. Just find that, choose it here, and then they should show up the next time you run Glitter. So that's the basics. So hopefully that's a good start. Thanks for watching. I have tried to make this video. Sorry, pardon me. Tried to make this video so many times it's not funny. So with any luck, this time I actually remembered to have the right microphone. So I did a good one once and there was no audio, and every other time there's always been a bug or a failure. So anyway, thanks for watching, and please support, use, tell me that you don't like or want to use it, or you want to see features, and if you have any money, please just give me a little bit, because I put a lot of work into this project so far and to create a good foundation for the future. So a lot of cool new features will come along much faster than it has taken to make the previous features, because I've been focusing on the underlying framework rather than particular features. But then again, thanks for watching and enjoy Glitter IDE. Bye.